Hey everybody, this is a video on how to create a really cool abstract artwork using pattern and line and thinking about trying to express a mood or feeling with the choices that we're making in our color and in our line. And let's get started. For this project, you are going to need a piece of paper and you're going to need something to color with, whether those be crayons or markers or even both, and you want to decide on an emotion or a mood that you want to show in your picture. Now, you could really pick anything. For this example here, I did anger. So I picked some colors that reminded me of being angry, like black, red, orange, and a different kind of red color. And those were all things that kind of just reminded me of the mood anger. Maybe for this example, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Maybe for this one, I'm going to do sad. So when I think about things that are sad, I want to pick some colors that remind me of being sad. So maybe I want gray, like a gray cloudy day or Eeyore. Maybe I want blue. Actually, I have a bunch of different types of blues and grays in here for my markers. I think I'm going to be using those types of colors. Um, Maybe I'll use black too, because sometimes that reminds me of being sad, or purple even could be kind of maybe a sad color. You want to pick about 4 or 5 colors that remind you of the mood that you're going to be showing. And once you have those colors picked out, you're going to draw your first line for your artwork. So you're going to pick your first color here. I think my first color is going to be blue. And I want to create a line that goes from the left side of my paper and does something that reminds us of being sad and ends at the right side of the paper. The line can't cross itself over, it can't scribble. Your pen has to go, you have to put your pen or pencil down on one side and bring it across to the other, whatever that line is doing in between. So when I think of being sad, maybe I'm going to start higher up on this side and start a nice slow wiggle down, because usually when you're sad, your energy kind of goes down. So this is my sad looking line. You're going to make your line using whatever mood or emotion you want. Maybe you want to do happy or excited or frustrated. I mean, there's a bunch of different moods that you can pick. So this is my sad line. Once I have that done, I'm going to make a pattern using colors. So I have my colors in this order, and I'm going to keep them in this order so that they rotate. So I'm going to go from blue to light gray to purple to dark gray to black. And then when I'm done, I'm going to repeat those over again. So the way that I even do this is I pick up my first marker, I use that color, and then I put it on the other side on the pile. So that way I keep rotating through my markers. So I'm going to go to my gray color now, which is my next color. And I'm going to not trace on top of the line I just drew, but I'm going to move my pen a little bit above that and try really, really hard to get as close as I can to that line right next to it. And I'm going to try and not leave a bunch of white space. So I have a little teeny bit of white space right there. That's okay. A little bit of space is okay, but I don't want it to come out really wide like this. See, this is too wide, so I'm going to bring it back. I'm just going to follow that line down. Now, if I do come out too wide, I'm just going to have to take my marker and fill that white space in. This is a very slow process. It's going to take some time and patience so that you have a nice, neat picture. But the goal is to fill in your entire page this way. So if you're going too fast and you're leaving too much space in between, it's not going to have a nice result. So see how I put my marker on the back of my pile, and now I'm picking up my next one, this light purple, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to flow right alongside that line that I just traced or just drew. And I'm going to try really hard to not leave much white space in between the lines. And you kind of get into a rhythm doing this. Grab my next color. so that you can repeat these colors over and over and over again until they fill in the entire space. Okay, right here is where my pattern's going to start to repeat again. So I'm putting my marker back here. I'm going back to the blue color that I started with, and I'm going to keep tracing that line. Okay, you see how I started to run out of room up here to make my lines? So I'm just going to pretend like my line was continuing up there and start it right where I have a new spot on the paper. So instead of, if this original line started back here, I can't do that because it goes off the paper. So I'm just going to bring it right to where the fresh spot on the paper begins. Okay, and once I have this part finished, this is all filled in from the first line I drew to the top of the page. Now I have this part underneath the line to figure out what I want to do. I can keep continuing the pattern if I'd like and fill in the whole page. I can do something a little bit different and make even more line patterns below there. Or I can draw something that also reminds me of being sad. Maybe I want to do little like teardrop or raindrop shapes. It's up to you to figure out how you want to decide to fill in the rest of your paper. And here's an example of my finished project. It is a line and color abstract artwork, and I used the emotion sadness.